Hello, I am Charlene of the Rainbow Frequency, and I am an energy balancing practitioner and spiritual medium, which is to say, I channel information in a myriad of ways to help people in their highest good in ways that delight them mind, body, spirit, and holistically. Thank you all for joining me. I'm waving at you all. Thank you for your support, your likes, your shares, and all that jazz. I love to work with people as well as animals, the land, and spaces such as homes or businesses. We're all energy, and energy cannot be created nor destroyed, and it knows no bounds. So, I am here today to offer card readings for individuals should you want to have a card pulled for you, or you can ask a question or give us something to ponder, to chat about. I will give a little dialogue to get the ball rolling. I firmly believe that we are who we are when we hatch here on this mortal plane. And it's our job to get to know ourselves fully, to understand how we are designed, what it is that we innately are able to do, and then to take ownership of it and do it with intention. Looking back at my life, I recognize that I've always been this person and been doing what I've been doing. It just, being born in 1977, it wasn't readily accepted at the time when I was a child. So a lot of us who are a bit older, perhaps, it doesn't matter how old you are really, but a lot of us would have presented in various ways our abilities, and then because it made people around us uncomfortable, we learned to shut it down or diminish ourselves to make others comfortable. And that's the travesty. It is amazing to me. Here we are, if you're watching this currently, 2023, how quickly the world has changed to be more accepting of tarot reading, of psychic abilities. I mean, not everyone, obviously, but at the same time, we've accelerated forward and being more receptive to these subjects and self-reflection. The word empath, meditation, these things are part of our common vernacular. I love it. I really do. I love the fact that we're starting to understand that we're all here in a beautiful radiance and full spectrum of beings where we can celebrate the fact that it takes all kinds to make the world go round. The fact that we are really starting to acknowledge the value of the earth, being in nature. It's becoming common dialogue to know that, to spend time with your feet on the earth is very good for you. I love it. I absolutely love it. When I first started studying Reiki to become a Reiki teaching master, a little bit more than 3 years ago, I suppose, it was hard to talk about it with people because I didn't know exactly what words to use. And it's definitely become a lot more understood, or let's say people are more aware, and it's easier to discuss these things with people day to day. And I personally, like, to me, that is a beautiful, beautiful thing, and I look forward to it increasing. I think a lot of us out there are a lot of people that I talk to have anxiety issues or other challenges in life, that when you get to know who you are and how you're designed, and realize that you are empathic, and that perhaps some of what you're feeling isn't you, it's that you're perceptive or receptive to your environment, the people around you. So you have to learn how to have healthy boundaries. You have to learn how to detoxify yourself, self-soothe yourself. Um, that changes what you consider to be a problem into viewing it as an asset. And if you change your perspective and learn how to work with it, lovely. I'm going to start by doing a little smudging and blessing ritual with elements from my garden. We have, and from a little bit down the street, there's a juniper tree that I was lucky to get some bits of. So juniper, lavender, peony, and roses. And again, take what you will as it feels appropriate to you. Clearing what needs to be cleared for your highest good, and bringing in love and blessings. Again, if you're watching this currently, we just went through a solstice period, which is all about shifting. If you're in the northern hemisphere, summer solstice, we had the longest day of the year, and shifting towards that harvest. And then the winter, the shortest night of the year, or shortest day of the year, and the light is growing. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Ooh, as I blow petals everywhere. And it's in my abalone shell, or one of my abalone shells. So again, we have juniper, peonies, roses, and lavender. Cleansing, purifying, protective, and bringing love in. And I'm being called to do a little mantra chanting. Mani Padme Hum. Padme Hum. Just the tip of the iceberg, but Om Mani Padme Hum translates to being the jewel in the garden, and it also, I love, brings blessings to you past, present, and future. Again, look into these things more because there is more to it. I just like to give you something to chew on, and if it sparks interest, you can dig further, because truly, by doing your own research into things, you find what resonates for you. And to me, who loves researching, it's more fulfilling in initiating you on your own path. Again, I'm happy to pull a card for you should you want to. Thank you all for being here. I'm going to pull an archetype for us all as a collective, what to lean into right now to best serve us where we are currently. And we got Eternal Child. A lot of us have been needing to work on healing that inner child. Again, you know, in our life or lifetimes, we sometimes experience trauma. And sometimes when we experience trauma, we will displace parts of ourselves for safekeeping. And when we've gone through our healing journey and are more matured, we can go back and recollect through soul retrieval is one way of looking at that, so that you can reintegrate these parts of us. If you had a very challenging childhood where you weren't understood, where you felt like you couldn't be yourself, you had to quash or squash aspects of yourself to make the people around you happy. You know, these are some deep scars that it would behoove you to work on healing through, so that you can be more fully whole as a being. But we get caught up in the doing and the living, and we are shifting from the Piscean age, which was all about survival, to the Aquarian age, which is more about reciprocal exchange, honoring both your masculine and your feminine side. A lot of us, depending on our journeys, have chosen one energy over the other, perhaps to feel safer. So again, it's going back to your origin point when you first came onto this earth, before societal expectations, your family's expectations, depending on who you are and your journey. You know, before things got so heavy that you might have altered how you existed to suit your surroundings. That's one way of saying it. So a lot of us, depending on where you are going back to who we were as a child, what we loved, our curiosity, our playfulness, and reworking that and reframing it into our adult lives. You see the central, this is to me representative of our self-confidence. You know, a lot of us, through living and the criticisms around us through life experiences, our self-confidence has been degraded. A lot of us love to compartmentalize and focus on one area or one part of ourselves, shoving down perhaps others. This rainbow, again, it's that holistic reclaiming all the aspects of yourself so that you have that sense of wholeness and holistic well-being. Another way of looking at it is, when you look at the chakra system, you have your root chakra or base chakra, which is your sense of security, stability. You have your sacral chakra, which is your creativity, your passion, your sexuality, how you nurture yourself and others, your solar plexus, your confidence, your soul purpose. And again, these are just in a nutshell. Then you have your heart chakra, how you love yourself, love others. Your throat chakra, which is about communication, your truth. It's the first of the etheric chakras. So, from here, your central point between the two, in my opinion, it's like the gateway between your physical body and your spiritual body. So your throat chakra also can speak to past lives. Then you have your third eye, which would be your intuition, your psychic self. Then you have your crown chakra, which is how you connect to the higher frequencies, your higher consciousness. You have more than just those, but we'll stop there for the time being. So it's just that reintegrating all those parts of yourself so that you're fully aware. You can't be grounded if you don't have your mind, body, and spirit together operating as a whole, in my opinion. So yeah, the eternal child. Our souls are eternal. Our physical body is a vehicle through which we're here to learn and grow. My opinion, my belief system. It doesn't have to be yours, but I'm here to share my experience and my thoughts so that you can be supported. So yes, thank you. Happy Saturday to you all. Thank you for joining. If you would like to ask a question, I channel information. I can't necessarily tell you everything. I'm not omnipotent, but what is appropriate and allowable, I certainly will issue forth. If you want a card, hit me. I'm here to offer you support. We're going to go to the Edward Gorey Fantod pack. Oh, we got the urn. Again, echoing back, we're sacred vessels. So treat yourself as such. A lot of people I meet are caretakers, people who want to serve others, very giving souls. But if your cup is empty, you don't really have the reserves to give from, do you? So a lot of us really need to be aware of taking time for self-care, not running ourselves into the ground or bleeding ourselves dry for everything and everyone around us. Also, to bear in mind that if you only have one way to fill your cup, that too can get strained. So, like, for example, if you're a writer and that really fills your cup, there are going to be times where you might have the experience of writer's block, and then that will become stressful. So it's just that have a plethora of things that feed your heart and soul, so that depending on the day, the energy that you're in, the season, you have different things to fall back upon to refuel yourself. For example, in studying Reiki, I have the different hand placements to do with self-healing. Sometimes I sit and I do that. Sometimes instead I do chanting. I will do yoga and qigong, dancing, singing, hiking, all sorts of different things. But I've found that in the winter months, I'm not as compelled to do yoga, because one aspect of that for me is to be outside and do it in that terrain. Whereas in the winter months, I tend to be a little bit less active, which is very appropriate. Honor the seasons. There's a reason we tend to slow down and go inside of ourselves and hibernate, if you will. So if you expect yourself to be going full tilt the same way throughout all of the year, no wonder you're going to wear yourself out or perhaps feel depressed, because you're not honoring what you need at that given time. So there we have that. We'll go to the Yogic Path, since we were just speaking of yoga. All of the ways that I just previously spoke of are ways to move energy through you. There's so many ways to go about facilitating that self. Artists, when they make art, that is one way to heal yourself, and then it's a beautiful offering that can in turn heal others around you, whether that be visual art, music, All right, we got Manipura. I'm making a mess. I'm going to read from the book. All right. Manipura, solar plexus chakra. You have come to a place where you know exactly who you are. Gone are the days of confusion and blurred lines between your truth and the expectations of others. You have grounded into your essence and built foundation of your empowered self. You have had to let go of many friendships and relationships that were no longer serving you to get where you are, and it was all worth it. Now is your time to really go after what you want in life. What do you care about? What lights you up? How do you want to serve? Meditate on those questions and then take action on what comes up. Now, perhaps some of you are still working on that. Letting go of what no longer serves you, focusing on your truth, what lights you up. On your deathbed, no one else is going to be there. Let me rephrase that. There'll be people around you, perhaps, hopefully, right? But at the same time, no one else is going to be experiencing that as you are. And really and truly, you're here to learn and grow and live for yourself, not in an egotistical, necessarily like selfish way, but at the same time, if you're doing everything in life to please other people, that's going to bite you in the ass, pardon my language. But it's no way to live, really. And if you're not serving your highest good, you're not going to be serving the highest good of those around you truly. So chew on that. You know, a lot of the people that I work with, we need to build up a healthy sense of that ego instead of being so dialed down or humbled down to death. A lot of people are recovering perfectionists or recovering people pleasers. You know, a lot of times of the environment that we were raised in, and we have to unlearn certain behaviors to be healthier for ourselves. And again, please chime in should you want a card read for yourself. I'm just going to keep going. Now we're going to go to the Greenman Tree Oracle. We got Willow. Hold on, and I'll show it to you. I also, just to note, I work with people both in person as well as online with equal effectiveness. So whether you're here in Richmond, Virginia, or out in the world, I am available to help you on your healing journey if you would like a guide. A lot of times, people will know and have heard what they need within, but it needs to be echoed back from an external source for them to really accept it. To me, personally, my job isn't necessarily to tell you things that you don't already feel and know, right? I mean, there might be some elements I might impart that you hadn't considered, but at the same time, like, I'm here to be a corroborative, reinforcing, building you up and empowering you agent, not this know-it-all person that I alone can tell you. Anyway, Greenman wisdom of the willow. From harmony comes inspiration. Divinatory meaning. Everyone needs harmony in their lives, for without it, we become fragmented, pulled apart by the conflicting tides of daily living. Harmony directs us towards flow, which in turn produces a sense of greater vitality and deeper sense of connection with the rest of the world. From this comes inspiration. The message of Willow and the Green Man is clear. From harmony comes inspiration. The Awen of the Druids and the Bards, a source of human fulfillment. The search for inspiration is an age-old one and belongs not only to those with an artistic bent, but to everyone who desires to inspirit their lives in a more positive way. So whether you are seeking inspiration for a piece of crafted work, a new and more harmonious direction in your life, or a more inspired approach to your business, this card reminds you that these things are always available to you, and that to access them is and to access them is to widen your horizons and be transformed. All right, the willow lore. One of the oldest trees in I can read. One of the oldest trees in Europe, the willow has a set of ancient, well-defined traditions. It loves water and generally grows close to rivers and streams. The element was always seen as a means of crossing between worlds, and journeys were taken by boat, either actuality or by vision, to the other world in search of inspiration and wisdom. The willow is strongly connected with the moon, again reflecting its watery, emotional nature and the power of inspiration. This association attracts a number of gods and goddesses connected both to the moon and divine inspiration, including Cerduin, Demeter, Apollo, Orpheus, Belenus. Anyway, I'm not going to read all of it. But your emotions, a lot of us vilify our emotions instead of using them as tools. For example, like if something angers you, use it as a fuel to propel you towards what you really want to, where you want to go, as opposed to lashing out in a negative fashion. Or if, just when emotions arrive, don't push them away. See the lesson, see the root of why you're being triggered to feel that way. Something floated past me in my brain, and then it went away. Perhaps it'll come back. Oh, that's what I wanted to say. Yes, it did come back. A lot of times our intuition, our psychic abilities present, and we dismiss them. I do this for a living. I still do it. I mean, the other day I was going to the grocery store and I had heard check the tortillas. And I was like, oh no, they're fine. And then I went to the grocery store, came back to make dinner, and then the tortillas were moldy. And I was like, I heard to check them. And did I do it? No. Because again, it's very common to like argue with yourself, to dismiss it, which is a disservice to yourself. I mean, again, like not everything that flashes in your mind is necessarily going to be that aspect. But like another example, I heard that this client was going to be early. And I was like, no, they're always late. That's not true. It's not going to happen. Sure enough, they came early and scared this bejesus out of me, which I was like, I should have listened. But no, did I? Mm-mm. I love to argue with myself. I love to tell myself that I'm wrong. And that's usually what bites me in the butt. All right, from the animals. Also in the background, should you be able to hear it, Spotify, the Tibetan Bowls playlist. I love some Tibetan bowls. All right, we got Ladybug, luck. All of your manifestations, positive thoughts, and visualizations have been heard. A lot of times we try too hard. We don't think it's working and we get frustrated. That's where learning to let go of resistance and build that faith within yourself, as well as with the universe and your spiritual team, that's part of the lesson. I love a ladybug. Again, also how we think can have either positive or negative effect on what it is that we're trying to do. Like if you're trying to manifest change and growth, but then you're constantly thinking negative thoughts about yourself or what's going on, that's not going to serve you as well as trying to focus on more positive thoughts. I mean, sure, again, honor what you feel, spend time to see what's behind it, but don't get caught up in that dismalness. Don't get caught up, like I think of in the Never-Ending Story, the swamp of despair. You know, it's very easy to get bogged down. That's where doing yoga, going for a walk, chanting can be very helpful. Dog. Today is a book day. All right, hold on. Hedgehog, vulnerability, hiding the heart, and tenderness. Also, you know, by tuning in to yourself, to your physical body, your emotions, your spiritual body, parts and pieces, you'll know when you need to have boundaries and perhaps curl into that ball so that things, and by curling up into that ball, that to me is speaking of, you know, putting yourself in that sacred circle, putting yourself in that sphere of light, or however it is that you visualize having that protection around yourself. Not to where you're so defensive that nothing good could come in, but to where that which isn't for you can be transmuted, deflected as it's appropriate, and in the highest good of all involved. Hedgehogs also speak about your being authentic. Then we got the glove, which is money, status, and complacency. The message I always hear with this is, you know, take the kid gloves off. You know, don't hide behind that mask trying to fit in and not be fully tuned in, you know, like connect, feel, by accessing all of your senses, you can best serve yourself. You know, we might, for example, feel something in our physical body, but then not listen and keep, you know, our physical body sends us signals of when it needs food, when it needs rest, when something isn't feeling good for ourselves. But a lot of times we don't listen. Same as I was saying with our psychic or intuition, like it might come through our emotions, you know, signals letting us know when we need boundaries, for one example. And do we listen? No. So again, stop numbing yourself to these signals and learn to read them. You know, again, we're here to learn and grow. And one of the best ways to learn and grow is to really understand yourself and how you're made and how these all come together. Instead of, again, being so caught up in doing, like one way of looking at that, the masculine body is all about action, protecting, survival. If you're caught up in that way of living and not valuing your feminine side, you're only half of the equation for yourself. Okie doke. I also wanted, if no one's going to chime in and ask for a card for themselves, I'm going to bring in some elemental support. We have aquamarine, we have an amethyst spirit quartz, a shell, pink abalone, and a blue abalone. Oh, and one last garnet. If any of these in particular really draw you, look up the symbolism behind them, the the properties behind them. Clearing the throat chakra. I really truly do believe in incorporating these natural elements and working with them. I've learned recently, like, for example, ancient Egyptians would have various stones and natural elements within their temples, and they were there for their protective properties, as well as they were aware of the fact that they had frequencies that they emitted. Amazing. Some people will scoff and like, what do you think a rock will do for you? And I'm just like, I really, really do believe panminimism, that objects, places, the land hold memory through experience. And by connecting and valuing the world around you, it can have that reciprocal, beautiful exchange. Call me a hippie. Yes, I am. For the longest time, like, my father always laughed and said that I reminded him of Dharma from Dharma and Greg. And I was just like, what? I'm not. No, that makes no sense, because I'd seen myself in a much different way at that point. And now I'm like, oh, I truly am. I'm all about, we'll read the Dharma card, because when I look at it in this way, oh, yeah. Okay, so Dharma, your highest purpose. Congratulations. You are on the path to fulfilling your highest purpose. You have recently unraveled deeper insight into why you were put here on this planet and ready to share your gifts in a bigger way. You have realized that the obstacles you have faced were given to you for a reason and have provided you the strength you needed to show up as your highest self, to grow into your highest self. We'll say that. The universe is ready for you to rise up into your Dharma role and uplift the vibration of the entire planet. Continue to listen to the whispers of your soul. Hell yes. Yes. I'll show you the card, even though we didn't pull it. I love it. One of the ways that spirit communicates through me is through songs and parodies of songs. And I've done this before, but come as you are, as you were designed to be. You were created with purpose and ever so artfully. The words have changed a bit, but the sentiment is still the same. You are a divine being made to be sovereign, take ownership of yourself, and don't diminish to fit your surroundings. You might have to adapt from time to time, but you don't lose yourself in that adaptability. As a younger person, I learned very early on that I could sense what the people around me wanted from me. So then I would be like a little chameleon and give them exactly what they wanted. And it was through growing and learning that I finally realized, like, not to lose myself and sacrifice myself in that. But, yes, I do have the ability to shapeshift in that sense. But you hold on to who you are in the shapeshifting to best suit yourself and the environment. Like, don't overly be a martyr and sacrifice yourself always continuously thinking that's how you're going to be best of service. Again, if it's not in your highest good, it's not going to be in the highest good of everyone involved. And if you're depleting yourself, degrading yourself, that isn't a reciprocal exchange. I'm going to pull another archetype card. I would love it if you guys chimed in, but sometimes I notice that that's not the energy of the live that I'm doing, and I'm just supposed to stream what comes through, and that's fine. But I love engaging with people. I really do. Okay, the sword. The sword can be used as a weapon or a healing tool. The sword of truth. It can be used to detach from connections that then you can dissolve it and release it. A lot of times in healing work, I will draw the sword, which is actually with the heart around it, which is, I learned, the Sacred Heart of Mother Mary. But again, and if you choose to accept this as an empath by doing this to myself, I offer it to help you in the same way. But sometimes we'll hold stuff in. We won't speak our truth for fear of rejection, of upsetting someone. But if you're not being honest with yourself and others, it's not typically going to work out for the best. You know what I'm saying? Also, what's coming through is deal with your shadow self. Deal with those dark aspects. And you don't kill your ego. You don't get rid of those shadows. You integrate them into yourself. It's that higher consciousness blending with that together that creates that wholeness, that yin and that yang. A lot of times the shadow aspects or what have you, doing your shadow work, you're not ridding yourself of it. Peter Pan was very unhappy when they didn't have his shadow, for example. Your ego is a part of you that helps you survive. You have to balance it and not let it rule you with fear or being like a helicopter parent. But at the same time, like integration. I love this component where, like, plants, for example, are grown both by sunlight and the light of the moon and the stars. So don't vilify that darkness. It's that womb space to me. And by balancing those together, that true illumination, that lightning bolt of clarity can come in. Again, hello to everyone who has joined. I super adore you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I have a few more moments that I'll stay. I'll stay longer if you guys start to interact, but I do like to talk with people. You know, conversation is such a healing exchange. As a hairstylist, that's where I really learned what it was that I was doing beyond hair. I was cognizant that I was providing energetic service. I just didn't know exactly what I was doing at the time. I had to remember and like do it with intention. That like from person to person, I would change, like how I spoke, my energy levels, you know, as somebody who's a medium and change information and does it a lot of times through trance mediumship. I would find that I adapted or shifted from person to person. And, you know, then I had to learn how to set my own boundaries, not to overly take in other people's emotions for them. You know, like I'm not here to take things off of your shoulders so that you feel lighter by not doing your own work, right? All right, collectively, we got the 9 of Wands. And for whatever reason, today is very much a reading the book to you day. I love the Alchemical Tarot way of looking at things because it's an alchemical process. It's self-actualization. And again, through alchemy, you blend the elements in order to become the highest version of yourself. Tip of the iceberg. All right. Rods, 9 of Wands, 9 of Rods, 9 of Wands, 9 of Staffs. A wolf is sacrificed in a fire. This is an alchemical symbol representing the restoration of the king who was devoured by the wolf. Tarot wisdom. You face a calamity. A fire is out of hand. Fire consumes you to the point of exhaustion or illness. The message also suggests sacrifice, especially for a higher purpose, like suffering for the good of others or being a martyr or subduing the animal passions for spiritual purpose. To me, what is wanting to be said in this is that by blending the aspects of yourself, your ego, your higher consciousness, you can ground it into the material plane, that which is brought to you from the divine. Also, perhaps sacrificing some of those unhealthy or bad behaviors so that you can let go and better serve yourself and your environment. Wands speak of, to me, I always think of the magician and their wand, or the wizard and their wand, and how they use it to connect with spirit, to manifest what they want in the world. It can speak of movement, passion, that which your soul is ignited to bring forth. Wolves, and one aspect of the wolf to look at is your ego, your survival, your instincts. So you blend that with your higher consciousness to really be your most empowered self. So I'm going to post these pictures of the cards that I pulled for you so that you can see them. Thank you so much for joining me. I am available to work with you. I am doing an event at Boulders Acupuncture next Saturday from 1 to 4. I have a post that I did previously that has the sign up Genius links so that you can sign up to be there with us if you like. I truly do these videos to support you with free content and build community, because I do really enjoy that aspect of social media. So thank you for connecting with me. I am available, so DM me. Or whatever, I have on my bio different ways through Etsy and my Square site where you can book time with me. I am a Reiki teaching master, amongst many things, and I really like to help teach people how to do things for themselves, to be fully actualized and their sovereign self. I also am here should you have physical ailments that need some further assistance. So please contact me if you feel that resonates with you. My price point is set my price point is set to where I really have found that people a lot of times best benefit from seeing me more than once so that they can really work through the layers. So I personally would rather have myself be a little bit more affordable to facilitate people being able to come to that table as much as they need, not in a codependent sense, but to best foster that foundation to promote growth. Plus, being a small business without a brick and mortar location, I can make that happen for people. I don't have to cover as many costs as maybe some other people out there do. That isn't to say that you get less from me. And again, I have to learn my own balance and not give overly too much. But I love the giving. So yeah, babbling now. But best wishes, all the love. I'm here. And it delights me to help people heal themselves and feel more confident and empowered in themselves. So best wishes, all the love. Be well holistically for yourself and the environment you're a part of. And I'll see you next time.